Hey yo, what's going on? It's Boss Cat Astronaut with another update. So the question is what some of you have been thinking for the past few weeks or even the past month or two. Are CNFTs or better yet are NFTs going to zero? I'm going to answer that question for you. And the way I'm going to do that, we're going to start out with this TechCrunch article. In this article, they talk about despite the falling NFT sales volume, there is some strength in the market. So we're going to kind of touch on that briefly here. So uh, essentially, there's like a few really valuable uh, pieces of information here. So NFT sales volume across the top 10 blockchains, of course, has fallen, right? The biggest decline recorded was around 80% on BNB. The smallest decline was on Palm, which I'm not very familiar with. I'm not familiar with that blockchain. But um, if we just take a look at the data that they shared on OpenSea, they said the average OpenSea sale has dropped from $1,714 in April to $214 in July. That's an 88% decline, right? So that's kind of in direct correlation what we've seen across markets, across different blockchains anyway, in terms of prices of those assets falling. I will say this that it's almost a double-edged sword with an NFT because not only during a bear market are you losing value in terms of maybe a decline in price, right? So let's say we're talking about CNFTs. So a decline in ADA for owning your CNFTs. Let's say the floor price was 2,000 and now it's 1,500. Not only do you see that 500 ADA decline, but you're also seeing a decline in the value of ADA, right? Uh, Same thing with Ethereum. Same scenario can take place as well. So it's a double-edged sword. You have lots of upside when things are moving in the right direction, but yeah, you can get dinged twice if you're holding on to NFT assets during a bear market, right? So this news, in my opinion, it's just a harsh reality of where we're at, and it'll be interesting to see where we're going. Do I think we're going to zero? No. And I can't speak on CNFTs, so Cardano NFTs. I can't speak on Solana NFTs because there's no historical data from the last bear market because these NFTs are so new to the space. So what I have to do is go back to an Ethereum NFT, the OG who created NFTs in the first place, right? And what I'm going to do is take a look at CryptoPunks, the OG, right? So what we're going to take a look at is their historical data. So kind of what you see here is sales in USD, right? So that's kind of the breakdown here. But more importantly, what I really want you guys to look at, let me drag myself up here for a sec. Okay. Now, what I really want you guys to take a look at is this area. So we're going to look at the date here. We're going to look at the date here on this left-hand side. But then we want to also take a look at the price in ETH, right? Okay. This is your average sales in ETH. So when this launched, of course, average sales were pretty low, right? Now, it's important to tell you guys this. The bull market, the all-time high for Ethereum happened in January 2018. So the launch is in June 2017, right? Now let's take a look. Let's fast forward to June 18th, right? And what we see here is you have an increase in sales volume. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back. You have an increase in sales volume for January 2018. And you also have an increase in price here. Now, after that all-time high, we got introduced to that bear market, right? So what you saw in February, March, April, June, July, where we're at, right? You saw a decline in price. So you went from an average sell price of 374 to an average sell price of 59.81. What's interesting about this is that if you take a look, 0.329 ETH and the decline to 0.12 is it's close to one third. So essentially what you should see here is a price that's, 100 and something dollars, like about roughly 125, right? But what happened is we started to decline and go down into a bear market. So as we hit the all-time high, prices, the value of ETH began to decline, and so did the price of the CryptoPunks NFT, right? So we had those two things going. So that's what we've seen in the past. But look, as time went on, when we got towards the end of the year, when we got to December, what did we see? We started to see an uptick. We started to see an uptick, not in the value of not in the value in dollars, right? But the value in Ethereum. So December 2018, we see 0.35 is the average price, right? 0.35 ETH. But the value is $37.87, right? So we saw an increase in price in ETH. So things started to turn around, but the value of ETH was much lower, right? So now at 0.35, that means that ETH was around $100 at that time, right? We're about a year after the all-time high. We're nearing all-time lows for the asset. And here is what we were seeing, right? So this represents essentially the bottom for Ethereum at the end of 2018, right? And it kind of hovered there in the bear market for a while. So what did we see in terms of price action for CryptoPunks? What we saw is it bouncing around from about half an ETH all the way up to one ETH. And CryptoPunks did this essentially for about another year, right? So as we get to 2020, what do we see? We begin to see an uptick in price. As we approaching it closer, or we're around that Bitcoin halving, we started to see something different, right? We started to see an increase in the price of the asset, uh, which is very interesting. And also in correlation with the increase in value of Ethereum as Ethereum started to slowly creep back up, right? So essentially, as we move on, right, uh, we really started to see us ramping up towards another bull run, right? So now August, September 2020, look what you see. All in 2020, we began to see a price increase. We went from 1 ETH to 2 ETH, back down a little bit, then up to 3 ETH, 6 ETH, 9 ETH, 8 ETH, right? Now, I think it's important to acknowledge here that uh, we're starting to get price increases, right? We're 4x, 4 to 5x our all time lows from the last bear cycle, and we're slowly moving up. And what you're seeing is people are having confidence investing back into these assets, and the value of these assets is increasing. This is a long term play. Um, so, with that, January 2021, bull market that many of us experienced, that was incredible, right? And what do we see? We continue to see price increases in this NFT asset, right? So people feel comfortable taking profits and moving them into these assets, right? Um, so essentially, what we did, guys, until September 2020, there was never millions in volume. Part of that was because of the value of ETH, but as the price of ETH rose, we also saw an increase in volume in the millions in terms of sales volume. So we broke that in September 2020 and we kept growing exponentially. So when we went into 2021, you start seeing 6 million. The next month, February, 77 million. What's incredible about that number is essentially the price began to increase again for Ethereum, right? Because now we're in a bull run, full on bull run. The price is going up, right? Now we know we had that first, got close to a near an all time high the first time. I believe that was, I want to say May, April or May, right? So again, you just see us continuing to move upward, right? In terms of sell volume and also average price of the asset. So essentially, here's what I want to break down for you guys. If you would have purchased a CryptoPunk in August 2020, your average price was $500. If we fast forward 1 year, 1 year, August 2021, in the heart of a bull run, that bull run winding down, about to wind down in a couple of months at that point, your $500 turned into $268,000. I just want to let that sink in for you guys. The bear market is the opportunity. Anybody that wanted to had the opportunity for entry in all these different areas. And what I'm trying to tell you is that history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it rhymes. And the fact that we're about to look at all of these assets, these blue chips, not only on Ethereum, right? But blue chips on Solana, blue chips on Cardano, what we're going to see is the same opportunity where you can take $100, $200, $500, and depending on the project, that can grow exponentially. It's an amazing opportunity because what you're doing here is let's take CryptoPunks, right? If you took $500 and you turn that into $268,000, let's do the quick math on what that actually is, guys. Come on, calculator. All right. Right. So here's what we want to do. 268,000 divided into 500. That's a 536x. So I don't want people to sleep on the opportunities that you have in terms of getting into blue chip NFTs, CNFTs, Solana NFTs, like whatever it may be for you. Make sure that when we hit the bottom, that you have a strategy for that as well. I will do an in-depth video on that, but I wanted to answer this question for you. So the question was, will NFTs, CNFTs, Solana NFTs, will they go to zero? The answer is no. Will they get really low like we've already seen? Absolutely. But there are certain assets that will be around, and smart money will be pouring money into those when everybody else has forgotten about these assets. And in the end, you're going to see exponential growth. You might not see a 536x in 1 year in terms of dollars, but you will see an amazing opportunity. Um, so um, as as uh, as we kind of take a look at uh, historically, like where Ethereum was, right? What you saw is the correlation between the asset going up, the price of the token going up, and the price of the asset going up, the price of CryptoPunks going up. So I think we'll see that correlation again. So the answer, will these go to zero? No. Will they go lower? Possibly. Some projects will. But do your homework. What are your 5 essential reasons why you invest in that NFT asset? Answer that question, and I'll do a video on that. Answer that question for yourself in terms of longevity. And if your answer is yes, when there's blood in the streets and everybody's running in different directions, afraid of crypto, afraid of NFTs, afraid of CNFTs, that's when you take your opportunity. Some of these folks got uh, these crypto punks for $100 and they waited 2 years, right? So take advantage of the opportunity when it comes. There's lots of great deals now, but I think there will continue to be until we see a bottom. And then you'll have about a year or so to really make some strategic moves. So I hope this helped you. Hope it answered your question on whether or not NFTs will go to zero. They will not. In fact, they'll come back even stronger, and they're a great opportunity for those of you who are well versed and educated in terms of finding the right projects. Right. Um, so as I always say, start every day with a grateful heart. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all soon.